An assistant town manager is named. Good news from Sandy Neck. An update on a pair of ongoing assault investigations. And Senator Dan Wolf in D.C. today on this episode of Barnstable Today. It's Tuesday, July 10th, 2012. I'm Sarah Colvin. DPW Director Mark Ells is named as Barnstable's next assistant town manager. Tom Lynch says he's pleased to be able to make this appointment, that Ells has been a valuable member of the management team in Barnstable, and his professionalism is going to be welcome as assistant town manager. Ells began his career with the town of Barnstable 23 years ago. He served as Director of Public Works since 2003. Robert Canavazzi will take over as interim DPW Director. Town Council is expected to ratify that appointment at Thursday's meeting. Ells is expected to move into his new office at Town Hall on July 20th. Well, it's another gorgeous beach day here in Barnstable, and one of the town's most popular places is Sandy Neck. Off-roaders are flocking to the sandy beach. Park manager Nina Coleman says the new parking plan is in place.
We initiated the parking plan towards the end of June to work out the bugs, and also to figure out how we wanted to have people park to be the safest that we could over the 4th, and also to maintain the widest ORV corridor that we could. Staff and I felt that that was the safest approach to having that many people and that many vehicles on the beach. So we initiated the parking plan. We worked through some feedback and some bugs and made some changes. Had a lot of meetings and came up with our final plan that we utilized through the 4th of July weekend, and we must remember that the 4th of July weekend also had a full moon. So it was kind of high tides, lots of issues with, keeping the corridor open. I think it went well. We didn't have any medical emergencies. We didn't have any major enforcement emergencies. We did address alcohol quite a bit early in the day, tried to set the tone early, and I think overall we did good. I'm very pleased.
Coleman told the Sandy Neck Board at its meeting this week that the plover population is down this year.
No? Okay, so we have a nest at between 2 and 4, which is due to hatch. We have one nest between 2 and 4, and that's due to hatch on the 12th. So we will be closing the beach down on the 11th to the usual closure, which is just after Trail 2. That will still provide cottage owners with Trail 2 or escorts. It still provides us, it's going to probably be 1.7-ish miles because the nest is on the far side, on the east side of things, depending on where the chicks go. So we will be having to take our parking plan and squeeze it down into a much smaller area, which may mean turning folks away. I'm not sure where Nauset's at right now. I'm hoping that one of those beaches opens and takes some of the pressure off.
Nauset Beach is still closed to off-roaders, as is Chapin and portions of the National Seashore, meaning that more people are heading to Sandy Neck to enjoy off-roading.
So we're looking at that closure. It is, at this point, only one nest. And no turns still?
Not in that area.
No turns in that area. They've been, we kept the area really bumped out because we were having a lot of turn activity. We were having such high rates of productivity, so as soon as predation, so as soon as those birds were laying eggs, that we were losing them. So it was, if you had driven through that area, you would see a lot of terns milling around and doing their turn activity, but nothing has been established. And I have to keep asking, as off today, I have to ask Chris because it changes every day. But our nest is due, as I said, on the 12th. It's just the one nest, so worst case scenario, we would be closed at that location for about 28 days till those chicks fledge. We are having high rates of predation, so I'm telling everybody just to keep looking at that website. We're having high rates of predation on eggs, so it's possible we'll also have high rates of predation on chicks. We do know we are going to make that closure. We just don't know how long that will last. But again, maximum 28 days before we're back open to before 5, a little west of 5. So that would open us back up to about 3.5 miles after that.
Coleman says so far the new parking plan is working, and overall it's been a great season at the beach.
But as we started working through the bugs, I did start to get a lot of positive feedback with the occasional, concerns still, particularly from the camper group. But overall, I get a lot of people saying that they feel that it is more organized is what I hear a lot of. I know it's safer. I mean, I've run this beach for 9 years. I was losing sleep over my concerns about safety, and now to have a corridor that's that visual and open, and Chris and I, we want 30 feet. We want it to be wide. We want to be able to see, for people to see if children are going to pop out behind vehicles. And to have that kind of space is has to happen.
Chief of Police Paul McDonald says a pair of assaults in town are under investigation.
It's very unusual. There was assault last Sunday in the bathhouse at Hamlin's Pond. Happened early in the afternoon. A young girl went to use a bathhouse, and she was sexually assaulted by an unknown male who fled the scene shortly thereafter. We did a massive search of the area using several canines. There are several witnesses down there. A suspicious person was identified. 2 days later, we did identify the suspicious person. We picked him up, brought him in for questioning. However, he has since been cleared. He is not the suspect we are looking for. However, the beach was crowded. There were a lot of people in the area, and there was one suspect who was acting suspicious. But like I say, we did identify him. But we do have other leads that we are following up and we are moving on with. We have several surveillance teams out in the area because, as you know, a couple of days later there was a second assault about a half-mile away in the area of Main Street, Masters Mills. So we have surveillance teams out there. We are using cameras. We are using video equipment, and that search is still going on.
McDonald says the incidents do not appear to be related.
The time of day was different, the type of assault was different, and the description of the suspects were totally two different individuals, so we do not believe they are related.
Cape and Island State Senator Dan Wolf is in Washington, D.C. today at 1:30 this afternoon. He was one of 5 people to testify before the House Committee on Oversight and Government Reform in a session entitled Examining the Impact of Obamacare on Job Creators and the Economy. He says it's an honor to be selected by the Democrats as their representative.
I think, a lot of that has to do with really the role of CEO of Cape Air and the founder of Cape Air and how we've always managed healthcare at Cape Air and worked with our employees, which is consistent with the Massachusetts law. And in fact, I'm one of 5 people testifying. I think I'm the only person that's testifying in a favorable way relative to the Affordable Care Act. Unlike in Massachusetts, the legislature here on the House side is the Republican legislature. So the chair and leadership decide who testifies, and they picked 4 people to testify against the Affordable Care Act and then told the minority that they could choose one person, and I was the person they chose. So it's an honor, but I'm going to be in a minority for a change down here.
Wolf talks a bit about what he plans to say.
And what is really neat is that, Massachusetts, we enacted our health care reform in 2006. So we have 6 years now of experience under a very similar bill. The Affordable Care Act, the National Act, was really crafted after the Massachusetts bill. So I'm down here really to talk about the experience we've had in Massachusetts, which has really all been positive relative to the implementation of our version of the Affordable Care Act in Massachusetts. So part of what I'm here to do is debunk myths, talk about what has worked, how it's impacted business, both on a personal level for me, but also some overall economic numbers in Massachusetts, which relative to the national trends, in spite of this health care bill that we passed 6 years ago, we are doing much better than the rest of the nation. So for those who say it's going to kill our economy, the Massachusetts experience would certainly belie that.
Senator Wolf joined us on this morning's episode of Barnstable This Morning. With Barnstable Today, I'm Sarah Colvin.